Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is German Bliss Equipment this morning, and we're here to review some of the features and benefits, maintenance and operation things regarding an RCB5715 cutter from Lampride. Starting at the front of the cutter, up here we have 3 separate sets of hoses to operate this cutter. The wings are each on a remote, so you can raise them and lower them independently of one another. And then the axle to raise and lower it is on a 3rd remote. So all of that is separate. It'll give you complete control over folding and raising and lowering the cutter. Down here at the hitch, this is what we call a bar tight hitch. This type of hitch gives you 2 pivot points, and it is bolted to the drawbar. So that minimizes drawbar wear, or actually eliminates drawbar wear. And because it pivots at 2 points, it would keep any kind of hitch pin or anything like that from getting in a bind. So you'll be able to back up hills and ditches and things like that without having too much trouble. The main PTO drive line is a Category 6 drive line. It's very heavy to hook up. So we have come up with this little support stand that you can raise and lower. Of course, you always have to lower it. We're just using it as a temporary lift system to help hold the PTO shaft up while we connect it to the tractor. This should also be something you need to be aware of. These 3-point arms on this tractor need to be up and in the locked position, or possibly even removed from the tractor, in order to keep damage from happening when you're making tight turns. If you were to have these too low, you can almost see what would happen if you made a tight turn. It would turn directly into the PTO shaft, cause a lot of damage, and that's not a warrantable item. Our tongue, where it's connected to the unit itself, this is really an important feature. It's a these pins have bushings in them and are non-greasable now. So this used to be a big wear point on cutters, and we have really cured that by enlarging the size of this captured pin and putting a bushing in there that eliminates wear and doesn't require greasing anymore. Of course, right here is your tube, your plastic tube. It's supposed to be waterproof, that you can keep an operator's manual in. I recommend that all the units have an operator's manual in them for different people that might be operating the machine. They can have a quick reference guide. Another nice feature of this unit is this push button lock sliding cover for the main gearbox, the center box, and the wing drive lines. This is where you will gain entry and access to your slip clutches, which are right here. And gentlemen, it's very important that you maintain and slip your clutches on your cutters, because the material they use these days in these slip clutches, it can flash freeze, and the clutch plates can slip or stick together, and then you've got no shear point or give in the driveline system at all, and damage can occur to the gearbox or the driveline. You can twist the profiles. This is a true double deck cutter. It's 10 gauge on the top and 3/16 on the bottom. This deck is protected by a deck ring, which will keep the blade from getting deflected into the top of the deck and thereby possibly causing some damage. Another thing we need to talk about are the transport lock pins. When you're transporting the machine, these cutters will fold up over center, and this pin right here, you have to pull the pin on the other side and pull this pin out. And of course, when you folded it back up, you need to reinstall the pins and the clip pins. And of course, this is a place you can store the pin right here while the unit is in operation. But of course, never forget to put those pins in and transport to prevent the wings from unfolding if you should have a line break or become disconnected from the tractor. One of the advantages of this system is that these are dual acting cylinders, and by having dual acting cylinders on this unit, we're able to pull it in over center. And what that does for you, it gives you a much narrower transport width, and it also gives you much more positive control over raising and lowering the wings. So we have narrow transport width, we've got the safety pins to install for transport. Right here's another thing, guys. In the past, to set the height of this cutter, we had little donuts that slipped over the rod end of the cylinder. These are flip over spacers. They stay with the unit, and this is, you open this up, take the pressure off of it when the axle's not sitting down next to it, and you can take out however many you want, just flip them over, and the unit will settle right back down into place. No more losing these donuts that clamp on and fall off. Another big feature of this cutter is Landpride's parallel pivot system on the axle. So what this system does for you, it keeps an even amount of weight distributed on each tire and allows the two wheels to rock back and forth and follow the terrain. It does some of the same thing a walking tandem has done, but the problem with a walking tandem, you had a tire here, then you had a tire back here. And so it was a longer system. And when you back into brush, you were backing into it with your axle and your tires first. So this is a closer coupled machine. It's a big advantage, and it's a very unique system to Landpride. One other thing back here while we're here, this hub cover is bolted on, and in the past they were just a knock-on cover that could come out, and this is a triple sealed bearing. So you're very rarely going to have any problems from here on with these bearings. They're big bearing, they've been enlarged, and they have a much better seal, and there's really no chance of this cap coming off unless, of course, all the bolts were loose or something like that. All right, Landpride's got a really heavy-duty new gearbox. You got 250 horsepower gearbox up there, and these are 225. They have a 3-inch output shaft. They also have a nice sight gauge, so you can always see where your oil level is at and see if it's dirty. Another thing we've done in the past, these driveline covers were kind of complicated to get open, but they've truly simplified it with just a simple latch system that you can pull open with your fingers or a pocket knife. Pull it back, and you can easily access your in-cap grease zerks in your drive lines. So it's very easy to get to. Another thing we'd like to talk about, while we've eliminated a lot of grease zerks on this cutter and service points, we have put some grease zerks where they've really been necessary for a long time, and that's right here on these wings. This piano hinge is a cast iron, and every section of it has a grease zerk. This will help preventing grass, juice, and water from getting in there, corroding that hinge point, and keep you from being able to raise and lower your cutter each wing independently easily or get it into transport. So it's real nice being able to lubricate this hinge rod. This unit has skid shoes here inboard on the main center deck, and it also has replaceable skid shoes out on the outer edge of the wing. The unit is equipped with double row chains for safety purposes and really minimizes any debris being thrown out of the cutter. This is an all welded deck, which will help keep water from getting inside the deck. And of course, it's just a stronger design to have the deck seam completely welded versus skip welded. And then one other feature for those people that have operated 15-foot cutters in the past, one of the things that happens to them is often the sides of these cutters can be damaged backing into culverts or concrete road embankments and things like that. And then you have to take it to a job shop and have that all repaired. Ours is bolted in, it's a 1/4 inch thick, and it's replaceable. So if it is damaged, don't sweat it. We can take that section out and bolt a new one in very easily. My name is Randy Wagahoff. I'm the Land Pride rep for most of the state of Illinois. I've been with them about 20 years, and I'll help support German Bliss, and they're going to take care of you if you have any problems with these cutters, and we appreciate your business. Thank you.